issues?
You know, obviously having a chance to watch the game film from Wednesday night, I thought we did some really good things. The thing that I was most pleased with 8 minutes to go, I thought our defense really buckled down. You know, not only did we not give up threes, we only got 2 off. So I thought that was a really progress there, heading in the right direction defensively. I thought we did some good things. I thought we had guys step up and make some plays offensively as well. But it's the best we played defensively in the guts of the game, or even for the bulk of the game. And the grade out showed that. You know, I was really proud of Nunn. Nunn came off, had a 70-some% defensive grade out performance, in addition to obviously being great on the offensive end. I think it was, maybe I said last night on my radio show, as complete a performance as he's had at both ends in an Illinois uniform. So I thought that was encouraging. We had other guys step up as well. You know, obviously we took Sunday off. It's the first time we hadn't been around each other due to travel complications and a lot of travel through the month of November in 20 days. So I'm sure the guys, you know, mentally and physically enjoyed that part of it. Came back yesterday. I thought we had a good practice. And now today we've got one more here in preparation for a really good Yale team. You know, obviously it's going to be a great challenge. You know, 20-plus win team, picked to win their league. Preseason player of the year with Sears, who won player of the year last year. The point guard Mason continues the trend. I don't know, you know, you'd have to certainly analyze all 350-plus teams, but I would say we'd certainly be up there as a team that's had to defend some of the nation's best point guards to this juncture. He has been meant a lot to their team, watching him on film. There isn't really anything he can't do at both ends of the floor. I think he's a really, really good player. Montague led the league in three-point percentage last year. He's off to a scorching start at 44%. They're the 24th oldest team in all of college basketball this season. They're very old, they're seasoned, they play well together, they're very synchronized at both ends of the floor. I've enjoyed watching them. They play the right way. You can tell they're well coached. So it'll be a good challenge for us tomorrow night. And I'm anxious to see defensively, you know, how we perform tomorrow night. Do we have the same mindset? Are we ready to go on that end of the floor as we had on Saturday? Questions?
Any update on, I don't know if update's not the right word, is Coleman Lands okay? He's not have any repercussions from the stress?
You know, obviously, Lawrence, the question was on JCL. We're monitoring him. You know, obviously you come off stress fracture. You know, the reality of it is, you know, he's had 18 days of full contact basketball, 9 practices and 9 games. That's all he's had. And, you know, so for us right now, yes, it's about repetition and building mastery, but it's also about making sure that he's healthy and making sure we have an idea of how much he's practicing, how much impact we're having on the leg, his minutes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, are we aware of that? Sure, it's our job to be aware of that. That's the doctors doing a good job, Paul doing a good job, and then us putting together, you know, practice plans around guys, different guys' situations to put them in the best situation to be successful and yet healthy at the same time.
Same question, but with LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron didn't go yesterday. He'll go today some. We'll see how he looks today, Tal.
Definitely good defense performance at the end. When you evaluate that and maybe the game against Notre Dame, do you look at those each in kind of a vacuum, or how do you compare maybe some of the breakdowns you saw Wednesday and then some of the good stuff you saw at the end of Saturday?
Well, I think the hardest thing, DB and I were talking about it coming over. DB's got the stat he gave me. I forget what it was about. We've had 8 different lineups, and what's the stat you gave me, DB? About
9th in the country in bench minutes.
Yeah, 9th in the country in bench minutes. You know, we've had a lot of different lineups out there. So you're trying to part of it is, yes, the schematic technique, the positioning, all that, no question, no matter who's out there, we got to do that. But part of basketball is it's a very free-flowing sport. It's not an individual sport. You got to be connected. And so, you know, we're trying the best we can to evaluate certain lineups. You know, I'm a math guy. It's called sample size. you know, the more sample size you have, the more you can predict, the better, the easier it is to do that. Right now, obviously, some groups have had more sample size than others. Does that influence, you know, defensive and offensive efficiency? Both. Yes, you know, it does. But we can't control that. You know, we've got to control what we can control, and try to get guys in the right position and making less mistakes. We're certainly doing that. I mean, I looked yesterday at our grade out first weekend in Springfield versus where it's at now. It's not even close. You know, guys have made a tremendous amount of progress. We'd like for them to make more, but we're headed in the right direction with that.
How is LeBron's, I guess, you know, uncertainty right now affect what you do at the 4 and 5? And affect what you
Well, obviously it affects him. You know, he's a heck of a player. You know, when healthy, he's given us everything he's got right now, and you know, we're going to continue to monitor him. But of course it does. You know, it changes. You know, practice planning and game prep, and you got to have more contingency plans, I think, than normal because of some of these situations we've talked about already here with Lauren, Tubbs' questions on JCL and Black. So you got to have more contingency plans. You got one thought, maybe with them, and then what's it going to look like without them, and then how do we play that, and who are we playing, and there's a lot of variables, a lot of juggling. That's the reality of it. I'd like to tell you, no, there's, you know, it doesn't affect it at all. It does certainly some in terms of preparation and planning. And obviously we're doing the best we can to try to be unconditional and make sure that we're prepared for all scenarios. But there's days where you just don't really know, you know, where a guy might be health-wise, and you have to adapt.
Maybe with LeBron's uncertainty, would there be more minutes with maybe a Finke as the 5 and maybe 4 guards, you know, as well?
Certainly an option. Everything's in play at this point. You know, you got to be adaptable. You know, I had friend Ray Elliott send me the Marine deal. You know, improvise, adapt, and overcome. You know, that's kind of, you know, what we've tried to do. I think our guys have done a good job of that. They've had that mindset, next man up, and they've tried to just keep, you know, stay poised, keep swinging, control what we can control, and that's kind of what we're doing right now on a daily basis.
You said Michael just looked a lot more confident. Watching him on the court Saturday, review of the tape, was that?
Yeah, he was aggressive. I thought he was better defensively as well. You know, he still got some steps there, but he was better. You know, took a charge, and his positioning was pretty good. And he's getting better, experience, and continuing to add strength. You know, he's just so much stronger than he was last year, and I think he'll even get more so moving forward as he gets more experience with what some of the stuff Fletch is doing. But he's, you know, he obviously played well at both ends of the floor on, you know, on Saturday. So we got to continue to see if we can keep moving him forward. But he's really improved.
Going back to the 8 different lineups, Saturdays were based on defensive grade out, but it seemed like, you know, you made a point to say that was maybe for just that game. I mean, is that going to be a consideration, you know, moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done that a whole lot. I felt like we needed to make a stance for our defense. I was disappointed the way we defended the second half of the Notre Dame game. That's kind of a feel thing for me. You know, obviously at some point we'd like to get in where we have a little bit more of a predetermined rotation. I mean, we all want that, okay? But right now there's been a lot of juggling for a lot of different reasons, and I'm hoping that we can get closer to that as we move forward. But with some issues that pertain to health, I don't have a lot of control over that. You know, I've got to, you know, do the best we can to, you know, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Assuming health stays where it's relatively close to where it's at, what kind of role would you like to see for the other freshmen, Aaron and DJ, down the road here?
Biggest thing is I want them to fit in by taking care of the ball, rebounding, and defending. And I think they're making strides there. I thought Aaron had his best game the other day and didn't make a 3. Well, obviously, we all know he can really shoot the ball. And every time he lets it go, I think it's going in. Just didn't go. He had a couple go in and out. But what he did is he defended. He took good care of the basketball. I thought he played the right way with the right mindset. He played within the team element, and I thought it was the best game he's played to this juncture. And, you know, great lesson for him because, like I said, I think he had some free throws, maybe a rip drive, layup near the rim, but he didn't make a 3. That's kind of what he's known for. But it's a good lesson for him that there's other ways to impact the game, and he certainly did that on Saturday. He was a big part of our win.
Making a stand. With some of the things you're trying to do with the lineup, how difficult is that to balance when you only have a certain amount of guys?
It's hard, yeah. But felt like we needed to do that. At this point, my deal, Jeremy, is I just want to play well. We got to get to where we keep making progress and we play well. We've done that at times this year. Probably the best we played in terms of a 40-minute game was UAB. I thought we played really well. I thought the other day we played really well defensively. I thought that was a step in the right direction, but we've got to develop some consistency, at both ends of the floor. That's what we're wanting. We're wanting, excellence on a consistent basis. And the guys know that, and they're working at it, and they're swinging. You have to stay poised. Ironically, Kevin's team that's in the Sweet 16, I just saw him leaving, and I was talking this morning with a couple of guys, and they lost 6 or 7 in a row. Look where they're at now. They stayed the course. You got to stay the course. You got to stay poised, and you got to worry about controlling what you can control, and you got to work every day to get better. And I think our guys are doing that. I really do. And they got to hold each other accountable to that type of effort, that type of attitude, that type of focus, that desire to get better. And as coaches, we've got to hold them accountable to that. We owe that to each other.
Coach, you talked about another challenge at point guard. How much are you able to draw from the previous challenges, even though the players are different in terms of what worked and what didn't when you're preparing for this one?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Derek. You can draw from it for sure. I mean, obviously Dunn, Jackson, Morris, Dallas Moore, Mason. I mean, we played some big time guys at that position. That's gonna be good for us. I mean, it's challenging, but at the same time good. Obviously, we can recollect or think back of what we look like guarding those guys. But each team's scheme's a little bit different, so you just can't say, well, guard him like you defend him schematically like you did Chris Dunn or whoever. You have to take into consideration who else is he playing with, how do they play, what's their offense. I will say the one thing about their offense is you can tell they're the 24th oldest team. They're very synchronized. They run their offense with great pace. They know where each other are on the floor at all times. They're very, very connected. And as good as they are with that pace on offense, their defense nationally has been ranked here for several years. They're not easy to score on as well. They're physical, they're old, they're smart. Like I said, it'll be a good challenge.
I sort of wanted to ask actually that same question, but I want to stem off of, you play great point guards, but you also, it seems to be a theme that you play teams that can hit the three and seem to hit the three against you guys.
Yeah, especially, no question, especially
Yale
early.
coming in, they can do the same.
Yeah,
thing,
they can shoot threes well. They've got a good interior player, really good interior players with Sherrod and Sears. And the guys that come off the bench are good as well. So we're certainly aware of that. But you're right. I mean, we've defended the three-point line better here. We did on Saturday for sure. We've got to continue to do that, especially in our man-to-man on Saturday. I thought it was really good. But you're right. That's been a concern, and it's something that we've got to continue to get better at.
2 games into State Farm Center, is anything about the atmosphere surprised you? Or
No, we're just glad to be home. I mean, it's obviously, as I said, fantastic building. Great to have our students back in there. We're glad to be home. My wife's glad I'm home too, so that's a bonus. Happy wife, happy life.
Getting the day off Sunday, did you maybe see a difference yesterday when the guys come back to practice where that was good for them?
Sometimes it can go either way, Scott, to be honest with you. I mean, you can have a day off, guys can take them a little while to get going. And I'm not talking about just this team, but in general, over the years. Obviously, they're much needed from a mental and physical standpoint, but or sometimes you can come off that day off and feel a little bit fresher mentally and physically and kill it, But yesterday, I thought we were pretty good. We took some good steps yesterday. I thought we had a good attitude yesterday. Guys wanted to get back to work, and obviously we get a chance to play again tomorrow night.
Looking ahead to Saturday when you play at the United Center again, the future of this game, where do you want it to go, and opponents? I mean, have you guys been in discussion?
Yeah, obviously we want to continue it, and the question was about the United Center game. We want to continue it, and we want to try the very best we can to continue to, get great opponents in there on an annual basis. obviously with our schedule, a lot of that depends, Jeremy, on the given year. Meaning, like, do you go to Maui? Okay, so now you're playing in Maui 3 games. Okay, you've got those 3 games. You also have Missouri. You're also going to Chicago. You got the Big East Big Ten Challenge. You got the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Does that affect who you play in the United Center on that year? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have probably as much or more so than any Big Ten school, and I like it. I love going up there, Chicago, and I love playing the Missouri game. And now you got the Big East Big Ten Challenge added. Plus, we've got more automatics probably than most schools in our league or at our level.
So return
And
game-
that's okay.
return games
I
now.
like them, but that does affect scheduling. It does affect who you play and when you play and how you put it all together. Do you have as much flexibility as maybe some other places that I've been at? No, you don't. But again, that's okay. We like doing those things. But we just have to know, like, hey, when we put the schedule together, does it fit our team that we have that given year from a projection standpoint? And you have to be very, very, very flexible, I think, with scheduling.
Are you close at all to getting anybody that you wouldn't have to return?
That's always hard. Yeah, it's a great question. Lauren asked, can you get a game up there you don't have to return? Those are hard to get. Obviously, we're always seeking them, but they're hard to get. But certainly, we've had some discussions in regard to that. Phone lines? Brown's like, it took you 4 years to get to that point where you... Go ahead.
Yeah, could you talk a little bit more about Michael Dickey and what he brings to your team right now, and then are you surprised at all by how good he's been offensively?
No, honestly, I knew it was a matter of time for him to do that in a game or games, hopefully games, because of how skilled he is on that end of the floor. I mean, he dribble, passes, and shoots like a guard at his size. That's very unique. He has great feel for the game, so he's really good at that end. We've continued to challenge him to be better at the other end. I like what I'm seeing there. He's making a concerted effort to contribute at that end as well, and I thought he did that on Saturday. So, I think he's going to continue to get better and improve. That's going to come with experience, and he's going to continue to get stronger physically, and I think he's a good player now that has a chance to be even better.
Coach, this is John Stevie with the Orange and Blue. Can you talk a little bit more about how Michael's got to maybe play out of his element a little bit on defense and guard the 5, but then maybe try to take other people out of their element and stretch them and pull them out on the floor a little bit?
Yeah, well, obviously Michael, when he committed, he was about 6'7", and I knew he was going to grow to 6'10". I had a crystal ball that guaranteed that. I'm just playing with you. He grew, so what that's done with him is allowed him to be a multi-positional guy. It's really allowed him to play 4 and 5 offensively and defend 4 and 5s defensively, and that's what we need him to do. He's very, very versatile now. Did we project that? We knew he was going to be a guy that could stretch the floor offensively. Did I think he was going to grow like he did? You never can guess or estimate, that, but what it's done is it's made him a 2-position player at both ends of the floor, which makes your team more versatile and obviously gives him a chance to impact the game even more. So I think that height and certainly that weight he added in the off season has helped him do that.
What was the dynamic of his recruitment like? A hometown kid who was just seeming to blow up a little bit, but to take the chance to give the offer.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I said this to him, for me, I evaluated him, and I told him when I offered him, like, hey, Michael, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not offering you because you're from Champaign, Illinois. I'm offering you because you're good, and I think you're going to be even better, period. And obviously, he's shown that, and I think he's going to continue to get even better. He's a player. I think offensively, I saw some of that stuff coming. I'm proud of the fact he's making some progress defensively. He grew a little bit, 2.5+ inches. He's gotten stronger physically. But at the end of the day, his character, who he is as a teammate, his love for playing for his, not only state school, but hometown school. You know, that means something to him. You know, and I love that about him. I think he's very coachable. You know, he's got a lot of great qualities that are going to allow him to continue to improve and get better.
What can you ask a guy like him to do defensively? Because, I mean, you said he's grown in size, but, you know, he doesn't have 270 like Mike Foran does. So what can he do defensively, can you ask of him?
Well, positioning, and his habits are getting better. You know, he does a lot. When he's off the ball, his positioning, his habits significantly better than it was a year ago. He's in the right place a lot more. He has better feel for that end of the floor. You know, control the things you can't control. Your positioning, executing pick and roll coverage that we're in, executing post coverage that we're in. And he's gotten to where his habits are better in those areas, and that's why I think he's better defensively.
Any final questions from the phone lines? Don't hear in the room for Coach? All right.
Okay, appreciate it. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, John.